welcome to YourTown TV. I'm Paulette Lynch, and I'm your host of this segment. We talk all about the arts. The arts are the answer. And today our theme is youth voice, youth leadership. And we have with us today a number of people who are just amazing leaders in our community, who are giving youth the tools, giving youth the opportunity, and giving them the confidence that they need to move ahead in whatever it is that they are most eager to do now and what they are going to be doing for all of us in the future. So we're going to start with Paraphrase Productions, and I'm here to welcome Andrew Marderian.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
I am so glad that you're here. I really admire what your company is doing, and I understand you're the general manager,
yes.
Right? But it all started somewhere.
Right.
How did it all get underway?
Yeah, Paraphrase started back in 2015, so we're still relatively new.
Yes.
And Paraphrase started out of a longing and kind of a desire to create a performing arts space that was catered to young adults and for young adults.
Now, when you say young adults, what's the age bracket that you are focusing on?
We typically focus on high school to early college, though our actors are anywhere from 8 to much older, but typically they fall in that kind of high school, early college range.
And what was the gap? So you must have felt like there's some sort of a gap that you needed to bridge, some sort of an opportunity that's nobody else had seen quite in the same way.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that? You're one of the founders, right?
I actually wasn't. I came our second year.
Okay.
So Paul Davis was the founder.
All right. So when Paul particularly was getting underway, do you remember what was his driving energy regarding this has to happen?
Yeah. Paul and kind of the founding team felt like there was not a creative space in the Monterey arts community where young adults could feel empowered to create their own theater and to be the kind of creative minds behind what was happening on stage. Theater communities are often characterized by a lot of different things, and our kind of founding team felt like there was no safe space for artistic development of young people.
And particularly in a leadership role.
Particularly in a leadership role, yeah.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, so we provide a lot of opportunities for young people to get involved in arts leadership, which is something that is really unique to just Paraphrase.
So when you talk about leadership, are you talking about things like selecting what's going to happen and then selecting who, and it's about choices,
right?
Is it about something else as well when you think about leadership?
When I think about leadership for Paraphrase, at least the ways we're providing it for young adults, giving them the opportunity to bring their vision to life and to inspire others with their vision. That's something that I think is really uncommon in the Monterey kind of theater community, and that's something that Paraphrase brings to the table.
So how do the youth that get involved, how have they been talking to you about their experiences? They must be pretty excited to have these opportunities, but it may also be a little intimidating as well. So how do they characterize their experience?
Yeah, I've heard from a number of Paraphrase actors and performers and designers and directors and stage managers who have all said that Paraphrase feels like a family. And I think even though we really strive for the highest caliber work and the highest professionalism, we all are just having so much fun and we're so passionate about it. And I think it helps that we're young too.
Yeah.
So, younger students aren't intimidated by a crowd that they can kind of identify with a little bit more.
That makes a lot of sense. And how about yourself? How did you get started, and how did you decide you're willing to take on general manager? That must just mean everything.
Yeah, that's a great question, and it was kind of a fun journey. I met Paul Davis, our executive director, in college. And one summer he said, "Hey, why don't you come up to Monterey with me and we'll do some shows."
So you moved from
Yeah,
everywhere.
I did.
That's big.
I moved from Los Angeles, actually.
Wow.
So I never really thought that my career in theater would take me from Los Angeles to Monterey. So I get a lot of questions about that.
Exactly, yeah.
But after that first summer when we produced The Addams Family, I just started realizing that Paraphrase had something really special. And we were still kind of figuring a lot out at the time. And then coming back for my second summer, Paraphrase really took off, and I realized that it has the potential to be something really good, and that it would be a shame to just kind of leave it in the dust when we're poised for so much growth. And so in the last couple of years, I've seen it grown so much, and that just made me so excited to be a part of it, even though it's in such a kind of obscure place that you wouldn't expect theater to be thriving so much.
In Monterey County, you mean?
Yeah.
Where everything's thriving now. So, or at least that's our goal.
Absolutely.
To have everything be stronger and stronger and more accessible and more interactive and more exciting than ever before. And it feels like we're on the right path.
Yeah.
But it's also because people like you are willing to step up. This is one thing that people like me are really conscious of, that a lot of people can wish for something to be different, to be better, to be more accessible, but it's when people like you are willing to say, hey, I can do that, let me bring what I have, that things start to really happen. So it's really, really great. So can you walk us through a recent production and where you can kind of characterize what's special about Paraphrase in that particular example?
Yeah. I have two in mind, actually, from our 2018 season. The first was our student production, and even though the student production is always, understandably smaller than kind of our main stage work, the student productions are really what we kind of center ourselves around, because they're so in line with our mission to provide youth the tools to create their own theater. And this past year, our student production was called Nice Fish. It was kind of an obscure play that we hadn't heard of, but the director was just so passionate about it. And it was absolutely thrilling and empowering for me to see this, I think he was a freshman in college, become so just energized and excited at the opportunity to direct this play that meant so much to him. So just seeing that happen meant so much to me and was so beautiful. And then our main stage production that summer was The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And while that was directed by more of the Paraphrase staff, it was so cool to see the ways that that story was empowering to people who felt like they didn't have a voice or who felt like they were marginalized in some way. So really, the 2018 season just held some really cool stuff for us, and it was so empowering to watch it.
And my understanding is that you are somewhat itinerant. You're having to go to different theaters around.
Yeah, we are.
So that must be setting you up for really interesting collaborations with existing theater companies. And
absolutely.
How is that going?
It's going well. It's a challenge because we don't have our own venue to call our own, so we can't ever bank on having a particular space. But we've been able to partner with a number of local companies to kind of co-produce work with them at their venues, and we've had so much help and support along the way to be able to do that. I don't think we'd be where we are today if we didn't have the support of those other local groups.
That's wonderful. So that's really collegial, and I'm sure they're benefiting from
what
you're doing, who you bring, how you bring it.
It's been really beneficial to both parties.
Wow. So when you look back, and you really had to make a lot of sacrifices, I would say, to come here. When you look back over that short time you've already been engaged with the work, what really is a signifier for you if this was worth it?
Yeah, that's a great question. One particular moment comes to mind. This past fall, we partnered with a local organization that provides resources and programs for special needs students from, I think, ages 2 to 22 they work with. So we provided a music and dance and theater class for special needs high school students. And the Paraphrase team volunteered and taught the class and just participated with the kids. And that was so special to me. And there's one particular moment, one of the staff members with our partner organization was there watching, and we were just having a blast watching these kids. And she said, oh, look at, I think it was Matthew or something over there. And she told me that he almost never smiles. And he was just laughing and yelling and overjoyed just because he got to dance around to some music and play some silly theater games. Something that to us might seem so unimportant, but to him meant the world. And I just had this profound moment where I realized, wow, this is really worth it for me.
That's what, at the Arts Council, that's what we always mean by the arts are the answer, and
Yeah.
the arts are a catalyst for those kinds of transformative
Absolutely.
moments that seem to have a lasting impact,
Absolutely.
particularly in that kind of context. So what would happen if a school or a community group or somebody just wanted to connect with you? What's the best way to get started? And what might they expect when they reach out to you and say, hey, we don't know what we want, but we know we want something that you have?
Right.
Well, what's the best way they would get started?
They'd go to our website. Our phone number and email is on there. It's www.paraphrase-productions.com. And we are really willing to partner in whatever way is best. We put on a number of programs, and depending on the organization, we're willing to bring something new to the table. For example, this special needs class was something that was kind of brainstormed very organically, and neither party had a really strong idea for exactly what the program would be at the get-go, but we knew that we both had something that could be really powerful. And so as we're connecting with other local nonprofits, that's kind of just been our, I don't know, what's been keeping us going, that our missions are in line, so let's figure out a way that we can use the arts, use theater to empower youth who need it.
That's so awesome. And can you tell me, when you start to look ahead, what are you thinking? Like if you say, here's where we are in 3 years, what do you see?
Great question. I see a company that's very deeply involved with its community. We've spent a couple years now producing shows and kind of establishing partnerships, but especially in 2019, we're really excited to really deepen our involvement in our community, because ultimately that's what this is all about. And I think if we're not using theater to bring about change for young people, then, you know, what are we doing? So in the next year, we're really going to be focusing on that, and hopefully within the next 3 years, will sort of be defined by that involvement in the community here.
Well, that's brilliant, and I can't wait to hear more. So before we let you go, though, I'm so curious, though, about your own origin story. How did you get involved in the theater? I imagine that's why you see how important it is to others.
Yeah.
But can you just talk about your own getting started?
Yeah, absolutely. I did not grow up doing theater, actually,
okay.
as some might think. I grew up doing martial arts,
Oh,
and
wow.
I didn't start theater until my senior year of high school.
Oh, my goodness.
And in my first show as an actor, I don't even really act much anymore, but my first show as an actor, just something clicked. And I know that sounds a little bit cliche, but something clicked and kind of sparked in me that just opened up this entire world. And I just knew, as, you know, a 17-year-old, that this is the thing.
Yeah. And what drives you to be willing to be a manager?
I think just to be able to provide opportunity for people, in whatever way that might mean, is so inspiring for me, and that's really what keeps me going when I'm kind of in the nitty-gritty of managing a company. I remember that we're providing something really special and really important.
And so you must also be needing like donations, and do you have volunteers?
Yes.
How do you get the community to say, oh yeah, I see what you're doing, I love what you're doing, I want to help you?
Right.
How can people connect with that part?
Great question. We're always looking for volunteers and donations. As a theater company, we have the great opportunity of a captive audience. So at every show, we can make a little bit of a pitch, just to say that, hey, we need help.
Excellent, yeah.
But if anybody's interested in volunteering, there's always something to do, and all of that information is on our website. So.
Excellent. All right, Andrew, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to share with people before I have to let you go?
I think I would just say I hope that the Monterey community knows that, yes, we are so committed to making high-quality theater, but even more than that, we're committed to using the arts to make a difference. And that's just what's so near to our hearts, and what we're going to keep doing.
And tell us too, what's the next production that we have to look forward to that people can just show up and come to?
Yeah, our next show is Next to Normal at Paper Wing Theater, and that's going to be in August.
And Paper Wing is on Lighthouse?
Yes, on Lighthouse.
In Monterey.
Yeah. And then a few other things are up in the air that I can't officially announce yet.
So tell us more that you can talk about with that new production.
Yeah. So
Almost Normal, did you say?
Next to Normal.
Next to Normal.
Yeah. This is our first year officially partnering with Paper Wing Theater again. We actually started off with Paper Wing, so it's really fun to be kind of back partnering with them, and they've been nothing but supportive of us.
Coley McBride.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
She's amazing.
They're so special to us.
Yeah, their whole team.
Yeah, they've been in this community for a really long time, so it's so great to see them helping us thrive.
I just saw Stephen Moore at the airport this morning.
Oh, awesome.
And he had helped me get First Night Monterey off the ground, so many years ago. So I think those kinds of one helps the other, and it just keeps on going. It's a beautiful network that we have. And that's one advantage, I think, to Monterey County.
Absolutely.
That doesn't always work. It's not always perfect, but it's still really friendly, and people are willing to help.
Right.
And so it's such a great story too, that you've been already plugged in to so many groups and so many different ways. That's really, really thrilling.
Yeah.
So thanks again for your leadership. Thanks for being here, and best of luck to you and your whole team.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.